We continue our coverage of Democracy 2010 tonight as we present to you another one of the candidates running for office in our area. It's a chance for all of us to learn more about each candidate before the general election on November 2nd. Tonight I talk with the incumbent for the race for Maryland Comptroller, Peter Franchot. Joining me now is Peter Franchot, the incumbent in November's race for the Maryland Comptroller. And Mr. Comptroller, thanks for being here.
Great to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Really good to see you.
Well, first question is what do you see as the most important issue facing Maryland right now?
Most important issue is the private economy. I mean, hundreds of thousands of Marylanders are in pain and suffering because they've lost their jobs, their homes are underwater, or they've lost their homes to foreclosure. It's a big deal. People are just an incredible amount of anxiety and frustration. That's the main issue. How do we get the economy, private economy? Government economy is never going to bring us into recovery. Get jobs, so we have to appeal to the genius of the private sector. We have to partner with them. We're doing some of that at the state level. Obviously, national trends impact what's going on in Maryland. The number one issue facing us right now is the pain and suffering of the private sector. It's not that the public sector is home free, but frankly, it's nothing like what's going on out there for our friends and neighbors. I've advocated no new taxes during the economic downturn, top to bottom spending reform of state and county budgets, partnering, as I said, with business, making government much more streamlined so that business, we can get out of the way of business and they can get back to making jobs for us.
Well, give us an idea of some of the things that you would do in office that would affect some of the greatest change and improve the quality of life. You mentioned some things about the private sector. Anything else here?
Well, the big thing is to make sure that the business community, along with labor and others, is included at the table as we're making these policies. I often say to the business community, you know, if you're not at the table, often you end up on the menu. And we see business as a bottomless pit of tax revenue. That's got to stop in Maryland. We've got to rearrange our priorities so that we learn to live within our means financially at the public level. And we need to get back to having government do what it's good, but most of all having business do what it's good at. Right now we have a jobless recovery. For most Marylanders, that's no recovery at all.
Okay. What do you think are some of the major assets that you bring to this office as comptroller?
The major one is I'm independent. Whether it's a Democratic governor or Republican governor, I'm going to be a comptroller that represents the taxpayer, puts my hand up at the Board of Public Works, or calls as I see it on the revenue estimates, or basically just I want to have a professional, well-prepared approach to fiscal issues, and that independence is something that's very important. Secondly, I'm a fiscal moderate. And I've advocated this spending reduction all up and down across the state because I think it's necessary. And finally, I've taken my agency to a new level of efficiency and effectiveness. We've gotten national awards for being one of the best taxpayer offices. I hate to say I'm the tax collector, but we try to represent taxpayers, make it easy for them. And I'm delighted that my 1,100-person agency really ranks, if not number one of the top 2 or 3 comptrollers' offices in the country, and I thank all Marylanders for letting me have the office.
Well, what is the single most important message you'd like to get out to the voters out there from you?
Single most important message is that we're entering an age of austerity, and we have to really reorient ourselves as far as our tax and spend and borrowing policies. We're spending too much, we're borrowing too much, we're not putting enough aside for rainy day. We have to get back to that sense of frugality in order to wring all this debt out of our system, retrain our workers for these new jobs, and most of all, partner with business to create an environment where prosperity and jobs are back in Maryland.
And quickly, what is one thing that voters don't know already about you that they should know?
Geesh. Well, you know, I have a lot of people ask me whether I'm related to a famous actor, Franchot, that was married to Joan Crawford in the late 30s, and it's true. I am related to him through my dad.
Oh, wow.
And his son, who's my age, came down and showed 5 Stones to Cairo or something. It was his dad's favorite movie, and we did it as a fundraiser. And it's kind of fun to have a little bit of connection to that guy who was You know, I never met him, but he was a very, very big star back in the 30s and 40s.
All right, cool.
Franchot, yeah. Vote for Franchot's cousin.
All right, you got it. Thank you much. State Comptroller Peter Franchot, who is running for the Democratic office for Comptroller. Thank you.